there is no technology that we have ever made that will serve as a good metaphor in general for how life works. And that's what we've tended to do. And obviously, we've talked about the technology of computing that we've tended to use. But the more we understand about how life works, the more we see that those sorts of technological metaphors are at best extremely limited and at worst extremely misleading. And so what I say in the book is that it seems to me that the metaphors we need to understand life are ones that have to come from life itself. So for example, I think that it's meaningful to talk about life all the way down to the level of single cells, in cognitive terms, to think of it as not a computational process, reading out an algorithm, but to think of it as something more like the kind of cognition that happens in beings like us with brains. And that's, of course, not to, that is a metaphor. It's not to say that individual cells have any sort of consciousness or they're doing any sort of real thinking. But what they are doing is integrating information from many different sources in order to come up with a decision about what to do, how to develop, where to go next. And that to me seems to be a cognitive process, and one that it operates often on analog principles of somehow doing this integration and figuring out from all these different kinds of informational sources how to reach a decision. That's not a strictly computational process. So I think that metaphor, if it is only a metaphor, and some people think it's more than that, of cognition, I think is a better way to understand life than computation.